All right, welcome everyone to another Integration Quest MuleSoft study group. Today we are happy to have Sanam with us. She's going to be going over when to choose Anypoint MQ versus VMQs. So very glad to have her here with us today. I'm just going to go over a couple things really quick and then I'm going to turn it over to her. The first thing is just real quick, if your mom and dad would have told you not to do it, please don't do it. We haven't had any issues lately, so just very happy that we haven't had any. Just got to get that out of the way. The other thing I want to cover with y'all real quick is time travel. Who wants to go time traveling with Integration Quest? So in case you missed one of our previous study groups, or even if you're here today and you just have to step away for 20 minutes, life happens. Jump on this website right here. It's YouTube. Go to our YouTube Integration Quest channel and go ahead and check out all of our previous study groups and upcoming ones. Go ahead and subscribe while you're there because you'll get a little notification. I literally put these study groups on YouTube the very day that we have them. So hop in your time machine and check it out. Little Back to the Future there for you. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to welcome Sanam. So thank you for coming with and presenting with us today, Sanam. This is just a little bit about her. She is not just saying that she helps people. Like I actually know people that know her. Digital D might be here a little bit later today and she'll confirm this, that she really does help people. She's helping and helping people in the community. She's very active in the community. Some of the stuff that she's been into is getting into the AI and agent force. She's also got a lot of credentials. And so she's helping people with all these credentials, which is awesome. She's a MuleSoft developer, integration architect. She's got all 3 levels of the agent force. Congratulations on getting legend. That's awesome. And a MuleSoft top mentor for this year and hyper automation specialist. So nice lineup, and I'm always happy to see people with a ton of experience and ton of credentials willing to help and give back to the community. So that's literally what she's doing today. So I'm going to stop talking so that way she can do that. I'm going to stop sharing, Sanam, and I'm going to let you take over. And like I said, I'll just keep an eye on the chat.
Sure. Thanks, RJ, for the warm welcome. And like you said, I'm always available, active on MuleSoft community Slack channel and on LinkedIn. So feel free to pop any questions to me. I'm just gonna enter the presenter view. Just a second here. Okay. Yeah.
Were you able to find it?
Yeah, I'm able to
Okay.
find it. It's just my screen just blacked out for a
Okay.
moment.
No worries. All right. I'm just making sure you got it. The layout on things are always different. Welcome, Suma.
Just
Hello, RJ. How are you doing?
Very good. Glad to see you coming in today. Glad to have
Thank
you. We're
you.
just getting started. You showed up at a great time.
Thanks.
sorry, guys. Just
That's okay. These things happen. Technical things. I have 3 screens set up now, thankfully. I'm so glad to have them. And when I lose just one of them, it's like, oh man, everything's so different.
tell me when I share it, do you see the presenter view? Oh, no.
I do see it. Yep, you're showing now.
Yeah, the presenter view.
Yep, then it went away for just a second.
Can you see it now?
Let's see what you got. No, it's not showing.
No? Well, sorry, just a second.
That's all right. So I don't know what you can see or what you're seeing there. There we go. Yep, that's it. You are on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute.
Cool. So, hello everyone. I am Sonam Bajpayee, and RJ has already given my introduction. So, after we have finished our lesson, feel free to ask any questions or reach out to me. while you figure it out. So today we are diving into MuleSoft Messaging and what is Anypoint MQ, what is a VMQ, how to choose between these queues. So by the end of this session, you will know the technical differences between these and how to apply them in real-world integrations. So before we jump too deep into the technical details, let's a really simple question. Why use messaging in the first place? Why do we need queues? And what happens if we don't use queues? So imagine if you see on your screen this first diagram, Salesforce is at your front end, and then you have MuleSoft apps. Suppose this could be your first experience layer, this is your second experience layer, and then you have a legacy billing system. So Salesforce is fast, it's modern, and it's cloud-based, right? It sends data to your Mule app, which then connects to a legacy billing system. And legacy billing systems say it's not quite as fast, right? It's an old app that is sitting on a on-premise server and that can only handle some few requests per second. So what happens when Salesforce suddenly receives a lot of traffic, like 100 of billing updates come in at once? So as you see on the screen, there could be three problems: tight coupling, no buffering, and scalability bottlenecks. So if there is no message queue in between, Salesforce and billing system are tightly coupled, which means Salesforce sends a request and just waits until the legacy system responds. So if that system is slow or down, Salesforce times out and users see errors. You know how our entire chain breaks. And for buffering, it is basically there is no breathing room. Even if Mule application can handle 100 requests per second, your billing system might choke after 5 requests. So you have created a single point of failure here, right? And again, you cannot scale it because suppose if you add another front application instead of Salesforce, you have another front app that will just keep piling up the load because it is impossible as your legacy billing system, which is the slowest system, decides the speed for every others, right? So now let's drop MQ into the picture and what it changes. So if we add message queues in between that flow, MuleSoft will then publish those requests into a message queue where they will sit safely and they will wait to be processed. So Salesforce doesn't need to wait for the legacy billing system to respond back. It can just send the messages instantly and it can continue, right? It can keep going. So that's why we need messaging, because we want to smooth out the flow of information. Now let's see what is Anypoint MQ. So Anypoint MQ is a cloud-based asynchronous messaging service. So as you can see in the first diagram, you have multiple systems talking to each other. And the MQ here acts like your post office, right? So you can send the messages and you can pick up the messages from them. And you can have multiple producers sending messages and multiple consumers who can pick these messages when they're ready, right? So here, whatever risks we saw in the earlier slide, which was they're tightly coupled, you cannot rely on them, you cannot scale them, all of those are taken care by MQ, right? So we will go more into the technical details when I show you the demo. Right now, I'm just giving you the core concept so that when we are looking at the demo, we know what these are. So what is a VMQ? So VMQ is virtual machine queue, but there is no virtual machine. It is an in-memory or persistent message queue, right? So it's perfect when you want to pass messages within the same Mule application. So it's very fast, right? And it's basically if you want to balance some load in the same application, you can use these queues. But you have to remember that this only works within the same Mule application and not across multiple applications, right? Now let's quickly compare these two, because I know that for those who are new to messaging services in MuleSoft, they can sound similar until you can compare them side by side, right? So first we can compare them using scope. So Anypoint MQ works across applications and environments. It's cloud-based, so it's great when you want different systems that needs to talk to each other. While VMQs, on the other hand, they live inside a single Mule application, and they are basically the use for internal message passing, but you cannot use them for app to app communication. Next, we can compare them on the basis of persistence. Anypoint MQ is persistent, so messages are stored safely in the cloud until they are processed. So if any of your system goes down, you wouldn't lose the messages. But that's not the case with VMQs. If you're using in memory, they are super fast, but they are temporary. So if your app restarts or breaks down, those messages are gone, right? Second could be your use case. So if you want asynchronous decoupled communication, then you want to use MQ, so that you are not waiting for any other systems that are slow or unavailable. But for VMQ, this is for internal flows. And if you want to use or process data in parallel, right? So if you want to pass messages within flows inside the same application, then you can use VMQs. And scalability. So Anypoint MQ scales really well, right? It can handle message volumes without you having to do any extra setup from your side, and it is managed by MuleSoft in the cloud. VMQ, on the other hand, depends on your application's resources, like your application CPU, memory. Um, they are fast, but they are limited to your application's capacity. So in short, these are the things that you can compare when you want to use MQ and when you want to use VMQs. If you want more reliable, more persistent, and you want many applications to talk with each other, go with Anypoint MQ. And if you want to have some internal flows orchestration, you can use VMQs. So it's not about choosing one over other, it's about knowing when you should use what. So these are some real world use cases. And I have worked on one of these, which is order processing. So imagine if you have an online store and there is some sale or discounts going on, and you receive thousands of orders at once, right? So you don't want to overload your payment system or billing system. So you want to utilize queue, and you have to make sure that each order is dropped into the queue, so the downstream system can pick it by one, and you can make sure that nothing is lost, and your customers get constant experience and good experiences. And another one could be legacy system modernization, and many organizations still rely on their older billing system that cannot handle real-time load. So by placing a message queue between MuleSoft and legacy system, you let this old system process at its own pace, right? And your new applications that are fast can work at their own pace. So you're basically giving some buffering time to your old system. And another use case could be any async, any reliable, any scalable integration. Whenever you need to decouple systems, you want to handle some retries, and you're not sure how much workload you will have, right? And it could be customer notifications, any large scale data migrations. You want to utilize the message queue there, so you know that it's reliable. You're not losing any messages while doing that, right? Yes, these are some steps that I have noted down. So we will actually in a demo that I will be showing you now. So I will quickly show you how to set up a queue in Anypoint MQ, and how we can connect it to a MuleFlow. It's a simple example, but it will give you a full picture. So let me just share you the another window where I'll be creating the queue. Okay.
And your video, I didn't know if you wanted to stop sharing your video. Your video did stop also, but we'll leave it like that because everything else is working. Just throwing that out there. All right, carry on.
Right. Yeah, so we are in Anypoint platform, and here we will be finding our MQ section. Right? This is our message queue section. So here, this is where you will be creating your message queues. You can see you have different regions and locations where you can create your message queues. I'm gonna keep it as default, which is US East, and you can select the environments. So I'm gonna switch to sandbox. So you click on this plus sign and you will see that there are three options. One is queue, one is exchange, and one is FIFO. So queue is your standard queue, and you will create a queue when your the order in which your messages are going to process doesn't matter. So when you're creating a standard queue, your messages will be in the queue, but it wouldn't guarantee what order they will be received. If you have a strict requirement like payment processing, something where you want to, make some constraint on the order, how it is processed, then you can use the first in, first out. So whichever comes first will be the first to go out of this queue. An exchange is something when you want to broadcast a single message to multiple channels. This is like using the broadcast feature you have in your WhatsApp. So for this demo, I'm going to be creating a standard queue. So I'm going to give it name as billing queue. So if you see, this is, there are some configurations that you can do on your queue. One is your message TTL, which is message time to live. So this configuration decides the time for which your message will stay in the queue before it expires. This is the acknowledgement timeout, which is it will wait for this much time till the message gets acknowledged. If not, it will discard it, right? And you can after I think it is in October sometime, yeah, October 15th, they have made encryption default. So your queues are always going to be encrypted. You don't have the option to not have the encryption anymore. You can also assign a dead letter queue. A dead letter queue is like your backup queue. So if you have any failed messages, you can save those messages in this queue and you can retry them or reprocess them. Whatever you want to do with those failed messages can be done using this queue. Right, so I'm going to create this queue. So here it shows you in queue, whatever messages are, and in flight are the ones that are already processed. And you can delete the queue, you can purge the messages. By purging the messages, it will remove whatever messages are present in your queue at the moment, right? And now that we have created our queue, we want to utilize this queue by giving the proper authentication, which we will need for our MuleSoft app, right? So we will be creating a client app here. I will call it billing client app. So this gives you the app ID and app secret, which you will be utilizing when you are going to configure this in your Mule application so that it makes connection to your queue with the correct authentication credentials, right? So yeah, this is it. This is how you create the queues and you create the client app to give you the proper authentication. I will now show you, I have created some flows and I will show you how we can make these connection and use these queues in our Mule application. Okay. Right. Okay, let me know once you see it.
I see you. Yeah, you're in Anypoint Studio now.
Right. So for making a connection from MuleSoft application flow to the Anypoint MQ, we use the connector, Anypoint MQ connector. And if you see, it has these 5 operations. So I will go through these each operation just to give you an idea of what it does. And then I will show you how I have utilized them in these flows. So publish is the operation where you send the messages to the queue. Subscriber is when you listen to those messages. Consume is also listening to those messages. I will show you how consume and subscriber is different. Then there is positive acknowledgement and negative acknowledgement. So positive acknowledgement is when you want to tell to your Anypoint MQ that I have processed that message and it is ready to be deleted from the queue. Negative acknowledgement is when you want to tell your Anypoint MQ that the processing was not successful, so you keep the message in the queue. Do not remove it, right? So I'll start with this publisher flow. So this is just an HTTP listener, which is listening on this endpoint, publish. And there is a logger which will tell us that our flow has started, and the Anypoint MQ connector. So for Anypoint MQ connector, I have mentioned destination. The queue that we created was named billing queue, right? And then there is this MQ configuration. I'll create a new one. So we need the URL, we need the client applications ID and secret. So let me just share my entire screen at this point because, okay. Yeah. So let me go here and get that URL. So am I in the right place? Oh yeah. So you copy it from here and it gives you the option. So we are using the 4.x and later connector version. You copy this and you have the URL with you, which we will paste it here. And then we will get the client app ID. Sorry, where am I? Yeah. And the client secret. Let's test the connection.
Sanam, Suma asked a very good question. She was asking if 3 use cases shared would require and use Anypoint MQ.
Sorry, say that again, RJ.
So Suma asked a very good question. She asked, would 3 use cases shared use Anypoint MQ? I believe.
No. Yes. So after I demo, I was going to give you some pro tips and cover it that you not many applications can be listening to the same queue. For that, you will have to create a pop-up pattern, right? So because once the message is consumed, it is acknowledged and it is deleted from the queue, so it's not available for your other Mule application. I hope I covered the question if that was the question.
That answers it for me. I'm going to check with her and make sure that she is.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the chat.
Yeah, I think Ajay, I'll come back in the end with a question.
Okay.
Thank you, Sona. Continue, please.
Sure. So I'm gonna go ahead. So we tested our connection. Our connection went successful. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run this. So I will keep this HTTP request ready in the Postman. We will be hitting the publish endpoint first. And this is just a example billing request that I created. So this is going to take some time. Okay, so this has stopped running. Let's see what happens when we hit the publish endpoint.
I want to give a shout out for someone in the room who received a award. Francis, are you with us? I see your name is in here.
I am, yes.
Oh my gosh. Tell me what happened at Dreamforce.
I wasn't at Dreamforce. No, I was very surprised myself. I just got told by Ryan, actually, the day before Dreamforce started that I was being awarded it. So, yeah, I knew that I'd sent a photo to Sabrina, but I didn't know what it was for.
That is awesome.
And you got, show us, do you have it with you?
I don't. I just sent them photos that put me on the the Wall of Fame hall.
The Hall of Fame. It's the MuleSoft Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
He's just doing stuff and doesn't even know what he did a good job, just doing so much good stuff out there.
I know what I was doing. I've mostly been answering questions and helping out on the Slack community board.
I hear you, man. That's a big deal right there. Coming from a new person in all this, that is a big deal.
Yeah, it's good to get a lot of help across different people. That people got to realize that with MuleSoft community, there are different avenues. You can do things through MuleSoft support. You can have expert coaching sessions. You can ask questions in the MuleSoft forums, or you can ask questions in the Slack community channel, and you'll usually find people that answer these things.
Absolutely.
But when someone's sitting there stuck or
last
struggling.
Week, somebody was stuck in my team. It took me a while to figure it out. We were getting a remote connection closed. We were trying to pick up an auth token. So not standard OAuth, not JWT, not any of the normal methods, sending some complicated headers and getting an OAuth token back. So we had to use a HTTP requester in an application to send a request to get an auth token.
Wow.
What we found was that when you drag and drop the requester into your app, it always defaults the payload.
Ah, yeah.
If you're sending a request with headers and URI parameters, and you don't want, if you send a payload, even if the payload's null, basically you're telling the remote host, expect a payload. And when it gets nothing, it might say, I don't know how to handle nothing, and then close the connection.
Oh my gosh.
So it's really important to take out the payload from your HTTP requester when sending a header related like authentication request.
Wow. That's one of those gems that would save someone hours and hours of frustrating time. I'm sure.
There was a lot of frustration. Was it SSL handshake? Was it CA certs? Was it many other things? But no, it was simply when you send a HTTP request with an empty payload, do make sure it's empty. Don't send a null one. It confuses the life out of them, especially when it's streaming and it's expecting a content length to say where it's 0 bytes.
Wow. Well, that's good. RJ, you probably want to leave that in here. That's great advice.
I will. I was going to say, I've got that stuff to edit out. That is not getting edited out because that is going to help somebody. And
hearing it from the Hall of Fame, but
it's going to make somebody's life way better. Awesome, Francis. Very cool.
How's it look?
Congrats, Francis.
Thank you.
Thanks for saving me while talking about that.
Teamwork.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're in and the Postman is working. So we're going to hit the publish endpoint. Right. So here we can see the publish flow started and the message got published successfully. We're going to go and check that here. So I kept the queue to this name, right? This is another queue that I created before. We can change it to this one, but let's use this. So you can go to message browser and you can get up to 50 messages. Yeah. So this is the message I sent today, right? So you can check your messages here, and right now it is sitting in the queue. It is safe, and our application is free as well. Now we will see our subscriber. So let me just remove the comments. I have commented out the subscriber because I have another subscriber here, and both of them cannot be listening to the same queue. Okay. So let me try to push another message. And here we can see that it subscribed, it was listening to the message, and then it is showing the message that it consumed. This is the message that we sent us. I want to show something here. For subscriber, you have an option of whether you want to prefetch it or you want to poll it. So if you select prefetch, it's continuously listening to that queue. If you select polling, you can decide how you want it to be listening. It could be on a fixed frequency, which is if you want to wait it for 10 seconds or 10 minutes, you can choose that, or you can give a cron expression here, right? So you have this option with subscriber. And if you notice, the acknowledgement mode here is auto, which means as soon as it picks up the message, it acknowledges it back to Anypoint MQ so that it knows that it has been consumed properly, and it can remove that message from the queue. Now we have another flow, consume. So consume does the same thing as subscriber, right? But the difference is consume cannot be at the start of your flow. You want to use consume when you want to do something before you actually consume the message, right? So you don't want your flow to trigger as soon as there is a message in the queue. You want to do some processing before and then use consume. One scenario could be you are from the listener, right? You want to add some extra details there, enrich the message, which will be coming from the request that we send to the queue, right? The message that is present in the queue, you can combine them and use it again. That is when you will use consume. And subscriber is something that you want to use when you want your flow to start whenever there is a message in the queue, right? So this is the difference between subscriber and consume. Subscriber will always be at the very first of your flow, and consume can be anywhere in between of your flow. So I'm going to comment this subscriber out now, and we're going to check the acknowledgement flow. So like I said, this is a positive acknowledgement. So this is something that you want to use when you have done some processing, and after that processing was successful, now you want to positively acknowledge that it has been successful and the message can be removed from the queue, right? But one thing you need to consider is whenever you're using acknowledgement operation or NAC operation, you have to use your acknowledgement mode as manual. You cannot use auto or immediate. It is because as soon as you select these modes, it will acknowledge automatically or immediately to MQ that the message is consumed and move it from the queue. So when you actually try to acknowledge it later in your flow, it will throw out an error because there is no message in the queue to be acknowledged. It was already removed, right? So you will have to select the acknowledgement mode as manual, which tells it that don't acknowledge it yet. It will be done by us later, right? Which is what we are doing here. So for acknowledging, we use something called as acknowledge token, right? Which comes as part of your attributes in the flow. So acknowledgement token is like a unique identifier which tells Anypoint MQ that this is the message, this is the exact message that is to be acknowledged, right? So it knows that is the message it has to remove. So I'm going to save this and run it. Okay. Let me add a message, publish a message first so that it will subscribe to it. So this was the start of the acknowledgement flow. It subscribed to the message, got this message, and then it acknowledged it, right? So when you are at this point of your flow, after you're subscribed, run this into a debug mode. Before you reach to acknowledgement, you will still see the message is present in the message queue, right? Till it is acknowledged. Only after acknowledgement, you wouldn't find that message in the queue. I'm not running this right now in the debug mode because I'm worried I won't be able to share or something. So I'm going to keep it like that. But I'm explaining what it will work like. Now we will run for negative acknowledgement. So it's listening to this endpoint. Right. So since there is no message in the queue at the moment, it gave us this response that it failed to retrieve a message. So we will first publish the message. Okay, let's also confirm it here. It takes some time to get all the messages for us.
I wonder what the statistics are on how many times a demo will have like system issues like this, or in this case, with it not responding. I'm sure it's like an extremely high amount.
Sure, yeah, because this was working fine just a day ago.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take this long.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just wanted to show how NAC works. But
yeah, if it's going to cause it, sometimes if it is more of an explanation of what it is, if it's to prove a point,
yeah,
might be good.
So guys, I don't think it's showing the messages anymore. What I wanted to show is that here for NAC, even if you consume the message, since you have a NAC, which is negative acknowledgement, you will still see the message in the queue because you have negatively acknowledged it. So that means it will stay in the queue, right? I want to show that, but apparently that one is not working. So in this scenario, you may want to use this and for cases where you want to do some processing. And suppose you want to send this message to another downstream system, and the downstream system gave you some error, right? You don't want to lose the message. You still want the message in the queue for retrying it, reprocessing it. So you can keep this negative acknowledgement in that case, right? Yeah. And you have to make sure that you're using the acknowledgement token so that it knows which message it has to keep. And you have to make sure that you are using manual mode. That it doesn't acknowledge as soon as it reads, right? So these are the things you need to consider. And also, Anypoint MQ is only available for the enterprise subscriptions. You wouldn't have it in the trial accounts, right? So this is pretty much about Anypoint MQ. We saw what type of queues it support, which one we will use when. We saw the configurations that we did here for each of the operations, what they do, and we saw how to create a client app to have a proper connection. Yes. Yeah, so that is the end-to-end picture for Anypoint MQ. And think about your current projects, where you could apply this, where you would want to use message queues to make your design more reliable. And that is the kind of design thinking I want you all to have when you want to use any messaging service in MuleSoft. Do let me know if you have any questions, something that wasn't clear to you. I'm happy to answer those. Let me just quickly go and, yeah, MQ is under stress as we are all watching. It is.
Yes, it was very
And
good.
Postman.
Even with things not working, you did a great job showing everything. Very good presentation. Thank you for doing that. And like Sanam said, if anybody has any questions and answers or questions, and she'll answer them, now's a good time to pop them out there.
So yeah, Suma, now I see your message. You're asking if all of the 3 use cases that I shared uses Anypoint MQ. Yes, that is like some of the scenarios where you would want to use message queues because you don't want to lose some orders. There are some billing systems, and there's some data migration that you're working on, and you need some asynchronous processing, right? So you will have to think while designing, considering all the systems that you're dealing with, if they are all fast, if they need real-time processing. Sometimes message queue helps, or sometimes you want to use transitions as well, but you'll have to think that way as to which one would be more better when it comes to performance and reliability, and when you want to scale them in future. These are all the things that you'll have to consider when you're designing those solutions.
That answers Sonam. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Anyone else? Anything that wasn't clear to you? Happy to help. I know I wasn't able to show everything, but it still worked.
Very cool.
I put in the chat, I don't know if it came through, with other queuing products available, what is a benefit of using Anypoint MQ?
Right. So Anypoint MQ is cloud-based, right? And also it supports like different locations, different regions. So if you're using MuleSoft, you want to use the MuleSoft provided cloud-based message queuing service, right? Because it is faster. There isn't any limit to how many requests you can store in those queues, and it's basically easier to configure, like we just saw, right? There are other products available, but you'll need more configurations, more settings for that. I know many others use JMS and Kafka as well, and RabbitMQ, ActiveMQ. All these message queues are available, but if you want to use cloud-based messaging service, I would prefer Anypoint MQ for all its benefits that we just saw. It is available in different locations, regions that you can choose from. Thanks. Ryan.
Great answer. Very good. Yeah. A lot of times people will ask, those questions, especially if a customer does not have a strong technical networking team to set up some of those other queuing mechanisms, especially if they're looking for, persistent queues. You'd have to have a broker, client, etc. So, yeah.
Yeah. I remember working in a project where they were dealing with Kafka, and at that time we didn't have any connector for Kafka. So they were kind of struggling how they are going to utilize that.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
So it takes extra time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had used RabbitMQ, which RabbitMQ has benefits, but it did not have a great dashboard. Our dashboard within Anypoint platform, and it's like you mentioned, having Anypoint platform already established, it's cloud-based, you have everything right there. It's ready to go. As soon as the entitlement has been added, it's ready to be utilized, so that's nice. With the connector.
It is. Yeah, it comes in so handy. And I know configuring other message queues has been more difficult. Sometimes the connection doesn't work or something. This is easy if you have Anypoint platform.
When it behaves in a demo.
Yes. In a
As long as all that lines up. You did bring up a good point, and it actually brought a question to my mind. So if somebody has Anypoint platform and they don't have the enterprise version, how would they practice with Anypoint MQ? Like, what would you all recommend to somebody that wouldn't have access to that?
I think they can just, drag and drop the connector in the Mule application, but I don't think they will have to be able to actually go and get a hands-on in trial account. But they do get like 30 days of free trial, don't they, Diane?
You can, if a customer has an Anypoint platform license, they can ask their account executive for access and a trial period to be able to see how it works, that type of thing. So, but if you are on a trial account, like any of us that, we can spin up a trial account, it's not going to be available. Now, those of us in the MuleSoft community, we can request special entitlements for testing purposes and for demonstrations. That's another big benefit of being part of the MuleSoft community is, to establish yourself, and then you can request Anypoint platform accounts that do have those features like Anypoint MQ, VMQs. I'm sorry, not VMQs, Anypoint MQ private, VPCs, things like that. So we can request some of those things.
Yeah, so short answer, with your trial accounts, no. You can ask for special access. If that get approved, maybe you can have it for 30 days. But otherwise, you can still use the Anypoint MQ connector in your Anypoint Studio, but you wouldn't be able to utilize the creating a queue in Anypoint platform.
That's fair enough. That makes sense that you would have to ask for the entitlement. That kind of moves us down to the next question that I'm seeing down here, where we're having a question. Mule MQ is not available in free trial. Are there any other free to use MQs?
I think there is. ActiveMQ also gives you some free accounts for some time. I think I've utilized it for POCs some long time ago. And RabbitMQ. Dan, do you know any other? I have used only these two for free. Yeah, you can use ActiveMQ.
Yeah, those are the main ones. Like Rabbit, I know has a free version. It will be more limited on some of its features. I don't know if Kafka has a free level or not. Probably not. I'm just guessing. There's some also queuing mechanisms like in Azure and other, larger. I don't know about AWS though. But no, I don't know of any others in particular. I'm doing a chat GPT. Let me see what it is.
Yeah. I know ActiveMQ and RabbitMQ, they're open source. So they're free.
Yeah.
I have used those, but I don't know other ones.
Yeah. Hey, one question I do. Well, I'll wait till we're done with the technical questions. I have another question when we get done with the technical questions. Any other technical questions? Okay. You must tell us about your little fur baby in the picture.
Yeah, she's Bubbles. She is 7 years old, and she is a little bundle of attitude. Don't go by her like cute face. She does just to fool you all.
You did a really good job staying quiet. We didn't hear anything from her the entire time, so that
Well,
was great.
she's having a great sleep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that's why
She's
she was
almost a cat in a dog's body.
quiet.
Almost. Yeah.
Good way
So
to do it.
That's funny.
Yeah, she's very nice, very well behaved, and she is not like the other dogs you will see. She doesn't like kids. She doesn't like kids, which is opposite to what I see with other dogs. As soon as they see kids, they're like, "Yeah, this is playtime." But she will just run away from kids, and she is like princess basically.
She looks like she could be. I'm just saying. But she's so sweet. I don't know how this is going to turn out in the chat. It's cutting it off. Okay, so I have a list of let me give this to you.
I can stop sharing if you want to share.
Sure.
Let me show like one more thing really quick while I'm sharing.
Or I'll tell you what, go
just-
ahead and put this on your slide deck and it'll be included in the slide deck. I'm sending it to you in Slack, RJ.
Okay. All right.
That way we can include it in the deck. Go ahead.
The next that I wanted to include and show is just a little sneak peek to next week, just bringing people in. That way you know what you will have to look forward to. We're going to be going over some M-unit mocking. So y'all come check that out next week. I'll be sending out an email on that and we'll go over it. And then let me go ahead and grab this other stuff that we're talking about. So we've got these free MQs that we can check out to answer that last question.
Yeah, it seems like there's a couple of them. Some of them would require, like for Azure, you'd have to have an account, but they give you $200 worth of credits. So each one has something a little different.
I like that there's different ways of getting it. Like, for me, I like to practice. I have to have the hands-on. I'm really glad that you did the demo, even though it was giving you difficulty. I still get the gist of it. Seeing the demo and even furthermore getting hands-on with everything is just so much better for me. And that's why I was asking about the free trial versus having to have the paid version. So it's good that they make a way to let you have access to it, because they have to let you try it, obviously, right? You got to make sure it's going to work for your company or whatever you're doing.
They do.
They're really good about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good that they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't included it in trial accounts, because we have others, competitors who are doing it already. So they should,
Yeah, maybe they're competitive.
And MQ has been here for a long time. They should have done it already.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
Maybe it'll take some time and they'll catch on to that. All right. So let's see this. Next slide here. Yeah, I got it. It came over and it was all not very easy to read. So I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit.
Okay.
And it's not the.
Yeah, Amazon has one, Azure, Google, ours, but ours, Anypoint MQ is going to be it says available with a 30-day trial if you already have gotten a license. So don't let that fool you. Yeah, look, that last one is going to be with a licensed account.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the list of it.
I
There's the
would say
list
try
of it.
ActiveMQ. I have used it and it's really great. Very easy to use.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised Kafka's got some free levels. So,
Yeah.
and we've got connectors for Kafka. We've got connectors for Rabbit. Yeah, for ActiveMQ.
Good.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
good
was
list.
thinking they didn't have one for Kafka.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one now. Yeah, thankfully. I've not done anything with Apache Pulsar. That's interesting. That's a different one. But there you go. Nice work, Sanam.
Now we have that it off for us. And I'm going to go ahead and just say thank you for coming out. Thank you for everything. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we can chat some more as we always do. Thank you all for watching this and make sure you subscribe on YouTube and look for the next one. All right, I'm going to stop recording now.